What's up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to review Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 10, the finale. About to be the last time we about to be reviewing Bel-Air for a little while. Bittersweet, you know. I like this show. I like this modern day Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's cool. My energy kind of down right now because I am irritated because it's raining, so it's kind of dark outside, so I don't even know how this picture is going to come out. I just hope it comes out okay. I don't know, man, because every time I'm in a dark lit area or something like that, the picture look all distorted and shit once I post it to YouTube. It looked fine on my camera in the video when I'm watching it, but when as soon as I put it on YouTube, it looked weird. But I'm just going to hope for the best and continue on. But yeah, if you haven't seen the Season 2 finale of Bel-Air, turn this video off. Go watch the episode. Come back and watch this video with me. Come back and watch this video. Anyway, yeah, I'm not a public speaker, so I will tend to pause, stutter, try to regain my thoughts. You're going to hear me say, so, like 1,000 times. I will be looking to my notes right here that I take throughout the show, just to make sure that I'm on point. You know, just that and the third, and, yeah. And I realized that I should start saying this at the beginning of my videos instead of just the end, because I should know that, like, everybody is not watching my videos all the way through. So, I'm going to start saying this at the top of my videos. Please like this video. Please share the video. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell if you like. Just support. Like, when you hit the like button, you supporting me no matter what. Even if you hit the dislike button, you supporting me. You supporting other channels like mine. You know, it's just a little quick way to help out. Is that everything? Anything I say, my opinion, it does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. These are my thoughts and expressions, so don't bring that over here. Is that it? Is that all I be saying at the top of my videos? Yeah, you know I got my handy dandy water bottle. I forgot to take it out today, so it's kind of not that melted. There's a little water in there. It'll do. It'll melt while I'm talking. Yeah, so last chance, if you haven't seen the Season 2 finale of Bel-Air, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire finale. Yeah, I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews, and I'm definitely going to grade this episode an A+, just because I feel like finales for shows, I would just grade an A+ anyway. Unless it's like super trash, and then I'd be like, oh, nah, y'all ain't even deserve that. But nah, this episode was good. Tied up a lot of loose ends. I was right about a lot of shit, like, that I predicted. So, yeah. A lot of stuff happened. A+, Bel-Air. Yeah. Let's get into it. So, the first scene. So, as we know, last episode, Doc told Jeffrey and Phil that if Lorenzo exposes him, his players ain't going to be eligible to play college ball because there's going to be an investigation or whatever. So now Phil's on the fence about helping Doc with the Lorenzo situation. So Viv and Phil, they're talking. You know, Viv, she like, Will's going to be devastated if you can't play basketball, this, that, and the third. Phil was like, yeah, that's the only reason why I'm even considering helping out Doc. So Viv was like, how does Doc expect you to help him with Lorenzo anyway? And then in my head, like, he a whole lawyer. Like, yeah, that is true. Without doing some shady shit, how's he expecting to help him? Yeah, that's true. But she was like, how does he expect you to help Lorenzo? Phil was like, I don't know. I guess I'll make some calls and see who I know. They both was just concerned for Will. It was like, I don't know what's going to happen with Will or all that. So then they flashed to Will. He in the hood. He playing street ball. I don't know where this basketball court's supposed to be at, but it's like the basketball court that he went to when he first met Doc and Jackie. So it's that basketball court. I want to say it's probably like in the hood, probably like Compton, Crenshaw, or something like that. But the hood court. If I say the hood court, then I'm talking about that hood basketball court that he be at. So Will's playing basketball against the niggas or whatever. They trash talking back and forth. You know how that go. Then Will, he pick a fight with like the biggest nigga on the damn court. What happened to? I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. Say, but nah, this nigga, he get into another damn fight on the basketball court with the biggest nigga there. Then Jazz pops up. He trying to like break it up, like diffuse the situation. Jazz telling the big dude, we don't want no problem. That nigga was big as hell. He was tall as hell. He might have been a basketball player that I just don't know because I don't pay attention to sports. So he might have been a basketball player that had a cameo. And I just didn't know. But yeah, it's like Jazz was like, yeah, we don't want no problem. I was trying to get this joint lit. There we go. So Will like, why you here, Jazz? Like, Will just mad. Well, he mad at the beginning of this episode, but he gets cool towards the end. I mean, towards the middle and end. So Will like, why you here, Jazz? Jazz was like, well, I heard you been out here wilding, since the news about Doc. He was like, ain't you supposed to be in school, Will? Will was like, man, you ain't my daddy, Jazz. I don't need no daddy. So, Jazz get to tell him, like, look, you can't be turning the street shit every time things don't go your way, this, that, and the third. He was like, you better than that. Will was like, you don't know what I am. You don't know who I am. I was like, damn, coming at your man like that, he just trying to look out for you. But he like, you don't know who I am. Jazz was like, I don't know who you are. So he was like, Jazz was like, this is not West Philly. You don't have to be that guy. Will gets up like, fuck you, Jazz. I'm like, damn, that was so uncalled for. Like, he said nothing to warrant that. So he said, he says, fuck you, Jazz. And then he gets up and walks off. Jazz is standing there like, really? Oh, really? He even said that. He's like, really? Okay. So Carlton, he in his locker. He's snorting the drugs and shit. And this whole time, I thought he was snorting like some, I didn't know what it was. You know how these white prep kids and stuff be on the Adderall and all that. So I thought it was either like Adderall or Xanax. I didn't know what it was that he was snorting. But we found out at the end of the episode what he actually snorting. Fuck it, y'all should have watched it. Coke. He's really snorting coke. That's what he is. I thought it was Adderall or Xanax or something. He even says it in this episode that he's snorting Xanax, but it was a lie. The whole time, Carlton's snorting coke out here. So that's what he been buying from Connor. And I'm like, where's Connor? Connor probably getting the coke from his parents the whole time. Oh, no, he getting it from, what's the dude name? The one that took Carlton's car. That's probably where he getting it from. I think his name was Luke or something. Lucas. I don't remember. So he in his locker snorting the coke or whatever, and the little shady faculty advisor pop up on her. Her name is Mrs. Basson. I got her name this episode. They said her episode previously, because I remember when Drew and Carlton got into that fight at the bowling alley. That was the first time I think they said her name. But this was the first time I got her name on the finale, which is sad. But she ain't had that many scenes. She only had the episodes with the protest, so she wasn't really on here to have to know her name. Just like Big Ashley, I never learned her name on the show. She was only like on 2 episodes maybe. So Mrs. Basson, she approaches Carlton, catches him off guard, but she don't even catch him like doing the coke or whatever. He wiping his nose and shit while she talking to him, but she don't even notice or whatever. One thing I will say, if you never did the drug, then you won't notice the signs or you won't notice the smells, anything like that. Because I noticed that when I'm walking outside and shit and I'm smoking weed or whatever, people look at you and they mug or they just look at you weird as shit because they know what that smell is, so they know what you're smoking. But people that never smoke weed or don't be around people that smoke weed, they walk right past you, won't even realize it's weed because they never smelt it or never been around it. So I was thinking about that the other day anyway. When people was all in my face while I was outside smoking, I was like, get the hell out of my face. But yeah. So she doesn't even notice this. She comes up, she's like, you ready for the mental health kickoff? Because remember when Carlton had his outburst at the bowling alley, he talked about having anxiety and all that, trying to fit into the Bel-Air bubble. And that started like a whole conversation about black mental health, and the BSU even started, I think they created a class. So I'm assuming this is where this mental health kickoff thing came from. So I was like, that's lit. Like, at least Carlton made something good happen. Even though he's still out here on that shit. Remember last episode, Will was like, you still on that stuff? He was like, gosh, Carlton, ain't you tired of the lies? Because shit, I am. That shit was so funny last episode. But anyway, back to this. So she's like, "You ready for the mental health kickoff?" He's like, "Yeah." She was like, she's like, "I talked you up to the recruiter at Princeton, and they want to set something up." And Carson was like, "Oh, bet, thank you." So she was like, what she say? She's like, you're gonna end off junior year strong. Everything you want is in your reach. This, that, and the third. She was like, even the Founders Day award. Carlton was like, I haven't won it yet. She was like, I'm hoping for good things. You're gonna make Bel-Air Academy history. Da da da. Then she passed him on the shoulder and she was like, this will be a win for all of us. So I just still think she on some shady shit. Like, why she say it like that? And then why she so invested? I mean, don't get me wrong. By all means, let the black faculty advisors be so invested into their black students. Like, by all means, I'm with that, for that. But I feel like she doing it for a malicious intent, for, like, shady reasons. And I feel like we ain't gonna find out till season 3 because they ain't really saying anything this episode. So Will, he's sitting on the beach. He's still in his feelings. Like I said, the whole beginning of this episode, Will's still in his feelings about the whole Doc thing. And it started to make him think about all the men in his life and all that. Remember at the end of the last episode, he was thinking about all the men in his life, even his father, Uncle Phil, and all that. So Lisa walks up to him. He's like, she's like, I got your message. It seems like you could use a friend. So I'm like, okay. They back on that type terms. So Will was like, oh, no, I was bugging. You ain't even have to come all the way out here faking. You know damn well. You called her while you were supposed to be at school. You wanted her to come. But she was like, you was there for me when I was in the hospital. I mean, when my stepmom was in the hospital giving birth. I want to be there for you now. So then Will just started to talk about his feelings. He was like, man, I felt like the court was the only place I was in control, where nobody else was in charge of me, my future but me. He was like, man, even that shit wasn't true. And Lisa tells him, which is also a song and a popular quote, but anyway, she says her mom told her this. She was like, life doesn't always give you what you want. That's a song. You can't always get what you want. That's a white song. If you try sometime. But either way, that's still a quote too. Like, regardless of the song, that's still a quote. But she says her mom told her this. Whatever. But on the show, her mother's supposed to be passed, her dead, so. She said, yeah, my mom told me you always can't get what you want in life. She was like, you need to figure out what that means for you. He was like, thanks for coming. He was like, thanks for showing up. He was like, thanks for showing up for me. She was like, that's what friends do. So Will was like, do you think that's what's best for us, being friends? So now that he's not with Jackie, he is trying to get that old thing back. And then for him to ask her that, she told you the episode before last that she couldn't just be your friend. Like, before they made up at the hospital, she told him she couldn't just be his friend, so they just need to not, like, be associating with each other. So now in this moment, Will asking, oh, you think it's the best thing for us to just be friends? So I was just like... And he also just want that old thing back because he ain't with Jackie no more. I want to say this, but it might be a little spoiler for Power on Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. Tariq did the same thing on the last episode of that. He did the same thing. He got into it with Effie and went running back to Diana. Probably intentionally, but niggas be going right back to the other one. So yeah, so Will was like, you think that's the best for us being friends? Lisa was like, I do. I think that's the best. I guess she hugs him. Will sort of got because he didn't want that answer. But you ain't getting the Lisa that you had the episode before last. She trying to get over your dumb ass. And she talking to Drew right now. His shady ass. So now we find out in this scene that Hillary and Lamar get smashed. So I was saying last episode, I was like, man, I hope they didn't smash, man. Because Jazz probably didn't smash none of them girls that she saw him dancing with at his meet and greet. I was like, I hope she ain't smashed him. I hope they just sat and had to even, like, I don't know. Even cuddling is bad, but I was like, I hope they ain't smashed. But we found out in this scene that they smashed. So they sitting down having dinner or whatever. You know, LaMarcus, he complimenting Hillary, like, this is good, whatever. They start speaking in French to each other. LaMarcus was like, well, we still got it. He's like, you know, I start my bye week tomorrow. We could be on a plane to Paris tomorrow. So Hillary was like, for real, Paris? He was like, yeah, you know, I got all the hookup spots at the nice, I forgot what the French word is for restaurants and stuff, the boutiques, whatever. He was just basically saying, like, you know, he got the best spots that she could go to in Paris. Like, he got the hookup. So she was like, I don't know. She gets up, start walking, doing something. She was like, the house is just starting to get its attention, and I got a lot of content I got to edit. And Marcus was like, well, that sounds to me like you need a, what do you say? Sounds to me like you need a break. And I'm in my head like, kind of sounds like she doesn't need a break. Like when your business company, whatever you want to call it, starts getting traction and gets off the ground, that's when you got to start hitting the ball rolling. You got to keep moving. That's not the time to take a break, vacation. Like, no. That's why I be wondering on these housewife shows and these little reality shows and stuff, when they take like 5 vacations throughout the whole season and stuff. I be like, that must mean that y'all didn't take no vacations when this show wasn't airing. Cause they be acting like, they be like, man, I'm just so nice to get away. I be like, damn, y'all just took a vacation like 2 weeks ago, two episodes ago. But anyway, so he was like, yeah, it sounds like you need a break. What did he say? Sounds like you need a break. Where am I? God damn. I'm getting my glasses next week, y'all. I don't know how many times I've said that. Gotta keep squinting. What the hell? Oh, yeah. So he was like, yeah. He was like, after the night we just had, I'm not trying to read into it, but it was amazing. So I'm like, what does that mean? So I'm thinking, like, what does that mean? But then Hillary says, yeah, you remembered all the spots I liked. I mean, you remembered all the things I liked. So I was like, oh, man, did they, like, cheesing? I was like, oh, man, they definitely smashed. I was like, they smashed. But then LaMarcus was like, well, this trip not about that, like sex. It's not about that. He's like, I feel like this would be a great way for us to reconnect. And I don't know, like, LaMarcus don't seem like a bad guy. Like, they trying to make it seem like he's a bad, I mean, the only bad thing he's doing is the only bad thing he did was trying to steal Hillary from Jazz. But it's like, Jazz and Hillary wasn't married, and they wasn't, like, serious. They just started talking, so, I mean, it was kind of like fair game. So LaMarcus didn't really do nothing wrong. So I don't really have nothing against LaMarcus until he does something to make me feel like otherwise. I feel like that was shady when he told Will, like, I'm going to get her back in any means necessary. But like I said, it was fair game. Like, Jazz, I don't know. But, yeah. Me, personally, I would pick Jazz because he's more attractive to me than LaMarcus. That's sad. But shoot, character-wise, too, I would like a nigga like Jazz. He funny. He from the streets, like, but he a cool dude. He got morals, all that. So, I mean, and he cute. He cuter than LaMarcus to me. So, I would definitely go Jazz. But, anyway. So, Phil invites Erica to this space. And she gets there. He's like, what you think? And she's like, oh, it's nice. Like, what is it for? So, Phil was like, this is the space for, what do you say? Philip Banking Associates, like my new firm. He was like, Jamie's going to run our old firm, Legacy. He was like, and I'm just going to co-counsel to keep Garrison, because, you know, they was trying to get that Garrison account back, so they got it. But I feel like they got it because of, well, they got it because of Phil. So he was like, I'm a co-counsel with Legacy still to keep Garrison happy. He was like, it's time for me to make the next big move in my life. So I'm in my head like, did he set Erica up just to get the Garrison account? Now he's trying to branch off. So he was like, it's time for me to make my next big move. Erica was like, well, your next big move is with us at Carson and Lake. Like, we made a deal. Phil was like, well, I'm still going to take all those big clients you promised me. Y'all promised me. Make a demand before he even give his proposition. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to take all them big clients that y'all promised me. He was like, and instead of being instead of being an in-house lawyer. What did he say? Where am I? Yeah, he said instead of being an in-house lawyer, he's gonna be a small firm that outsources that Carson and Lake outsources their business to. So Eric was like, well, I don't know if the partners is gonna go for that. But I like this situation better because he ain't working with Erica like close. He gonna be like on his own little separate firm. Of course, they gonna be consulting all that, but he don't gotta be working as close to Erica as he would have been if he wasn't starting this firm. So I like this idea. So he's like, yeah. So Eric's like, I don't think the partners are gonna go for that. So Phil was like, well, remind them that less than 1%. That's crazy. What is that then? Probably one person. He was like, remind them that less percent of the outside firms that they hire are minority owned. So that's wow. Less than 1%. That's probably only one then. One outside firm that's minority owned. But yeah, he was like, yeah, mention that. And he was like, look, I know the value that my face brings. Like, I'm still gonna show up to all the client lunches and the most important meetings, things like that. And Erica was like, oh, the optics, huh? And Phil was like, yeah, see, you get it. He was like, just help the partners make the right decision. He's like, either way y'all got me. He was like, ain't that what you wanted? And I'm just like, all right, Phil, don't you start talking like her. Because she be saying little passive stuff. I mean, not passive, but she be saying little stuff that could be taken out of context. He was like, yeah, you got me. Ain't that what you wanted? So Janice, the light-skinned and Viv from the sitcom, the one that was like, the one who job Viv's supposed to be taking. So she shows up on Viv. She pops up on Viv. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, she done found out the news. She about to bomb. She about to get on Viv. She comes to tell her. So first it was seeming like good vibes or whatever. She was like, well, she tells Viv, this gallery wants to feature five of her pieces in their exhibit. Viv was like, well, that's amazing. Janice was like, well, I pulled some favors, but I just wanted to come and tell you in person. So I'm in my head like, oh, I know where this is about to go. She pulled some favors, so for those favors, she want her to like turn the position down. I'm thinking that's what I was thinking. So Viv you can see it in Viv's face. She's looking kind of guilty. So Janice was like, I pulled some strings, but I wanted to come tell you in person. She was like, is something wrong, Viv? And it was shady for Janice to ask that because Janice already knew why Viv was making those faces. So yeah, I put Viv probably feeling more guilty about taking her job. So Viv was like, no, I'm just in shock. It's amazing news. Thank you so much. So then Janice says, well, I heard something that and she pauses. She was like, well, I heard that the Neiman board offered you my job. So Viv, she makes the face like, oh, I'm bombed out. So she was like, look. So, Viv gets to look. What she said? She's like, yeah, but they came to me. and like I said, Viv's character is super passive to me. Like, she don't even try to, like, she don't even try to do confrontation unless it's with Phil. But she be like, when it comes to other people, the confrontation don't really be there with Viv. So she was like, well, look, they came to me. James was like, well, after all I've done for you. I was like, don't be Franklin Saint. Franklin Saint loves to say, after all I've done for you, what you gonna do to me? But so she's like, after all I've done for you, and Viv was like, for me? You mean to me? So then she get there. Ever since I accepted this fellowship, you have done nothing but like squeeze the life out of me, make my work and time miserable. Viv was like, I didn't ask for this job. James was like, well, good, because I'm not giving up my position without a fight. And that's a fucking promise. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. So I was like, what's Janice's angle going to be? Because it's like kind of nothing you can do if you ain't doing your job right. I don't know. But, so, who the hell is Drew? Oh, Drew. I was like, who is Drew? I don't like his ass, so that's why I'm like, who is Drew? But Drew is the one that leaked the video or whatever. So Drew, he sees Will and Lisa when they get back from the beach, because, you know, they skipped, I guess they skipped school over. Yeah, they skipped school, because remember Jazz was like, you supposed to be in school, ain't you? So him and Will walk past each other, mugging them up and down each other. So Drew go up to Lisa. Oh, first y'all skipping first period, first class together, and now y'all sneaking in together. So Lisa already irritated with Drew because she know that he is kind of like shady, liar. She's starting to find out about his ways, so she already getting annoyed with him. So she's like, if you're gonna ask something, Drew, just ask it. So he was like, what'd he say? He's like, I'm just looking for a little honesty. That's, you know, that's my last name. You know, that ain't just some name I made up for YouTube for these reviews. My last name is actually Honesty. Got a whole family of Honesties. Got it from my granddaddy. But anyway, he was like, I'm just looking for a little honesty. And she was like, oh, well, honesty, like the locker room video, right? So Drew get all quiet. She was like, is there anything you want to tell me about that? He still don't say nothing. Lisa was like, well, we don't have nothing to talk about. And then walks off on his dumb ass. You didn't think that was going to get back to Lisa? Like, come on, Drew. Just because you told Will you ain't got no proof to do something about it. Either way, Lisa trusts Carlton and Will way more than she trusts your ass. Especially after the shit you pulled at the bowling alley. So Will's old Bel-Air basketball teammate, his name is Ty. He comes over, he's like, what's up, future founder award winner? Will was like, I ain't win yet. Notice how him and Carlton was like, I ain't win yet. So they both know it's up in the air. It could be either one of them. Not nobody else. It can't be nobody else that's nominated. That'd have been wild as hell if somebody else would have won. Like, that wasn't even Will or Carlton. That'd have been hilarious. Because they ain't give us no background on none of the other people. So we knew it was going to be Will or Carlton. So Will was like, well, not yet. He was like, but congrats, though. I heard y'all making it to y'all made it to semifinals. That's what's up. So I was like, yeah, but we going up against, what's the school name? He's like, yeah, we going up against St. Paul. That's a super vicious team. And he already down with this team talking about something. What'd he say? He's like, it'd been great to go the whole way. And I'm just like, damn, he already doubting the team, thinking they gonna lose. And Will, I guess he felt that energy from Ty too. So then they both look over, they see Carlton and Connor chilling at the lunch table. And Ty get the when did Carlton and Connor start hanging back out? Will was like, man, Carlton been on some shit lately. Just telling niggas and shit. That's your old cousin. Shit, don't tell him. We ain't say too much. Then Will was just like, I can't help nobody. Don't want to help themselves. Because, you know, he tried to help Carlton last. Ain't you tired of the lies? Because shit I am. Start going through his shit. So now Phil, he excited. He goes to Viv, like, yeah, I gave my proposal to Carlton and Lake. Might actually come through. He was like, I'm hearing that they like the offer. Viv was like, well, that's great. So Phil asked Viv, like, what's wrong? Viv was like, she just got a call that the executive director position might not even work out anymore. So I'm like, damn, Janice moved fast. So I'm like, what happened? So she starts telling Phil that Janice is threatening to go to the media, say that the board is trying to pit two black women against each other, and Viv is just a pawn going along with it for them. So I'm just like, damn, that's wild as hell. Like, I'm like, what she thinks she gaining by that? To show that they trying to pit two black women against each other, but saying that Viv is the pawn. So you basically like proving the fake point that you putting out there. I was like, damn, what's you gonna get out of that? That was my thing. So then Viv, she was like, man, I was just starting to get excited about the influence I was gonna have with this job. So then Phil says, and this is why they was arguing in season 1. And I kind of was with Viv on this one, because I was just like, really, bruh? So he says to her, well, you know, the fellowship has been having more lows than highs, He was like, you think it's maybe time to just let it go? And I was just like, well, I wrote, this is why in season 1, she felt like you didn't support her dreams, Phil. But yeah, so I was just like, damn, you telling her to give up? Like what? That's wild as hell. And I'm glad she didn't. If you watched the show, as you should have before watching this, she did not give up. And I'm glad she didn't, because like Phil just told her to give up. And I'm just like, what type of... That's why she be getting mad at me, and I feel her on that. Like, you don't just tell her to give up. Like, tell her to keep pushing forward. Tell her she can do it. All that. That's the type of stuff you're supposed to tell her. You're supposed to amp her up. Tell her the same type of shit you out here telling your kids. It's wild as hell. I was like, why would he say that? So then, even Viv in this moment, of course, she's like, wow. Like, wow. I was even like, wow, that's wild as hell. She was like, it's like deja vu. You know how the song, it's like deja vu. That's how their theme song go. Happens all the time. She was like, it's like deja vu. When my work gets difficult, you want me to walk away. She was like, I just don't want to see you so stressed. It's like, that's what hard work comes with sometimes. And that's what the type of stuff you should be telling her. Like, you know, hard work comes with stress, baby. You got this. Like, what? Like, but he was like, I just don't want to see you so stressed. What else he say? Yeah, he was like, I don't want to see you so stressed. Viv was like, are you sure about that? She was like, it's starting to seem like a pattern. She was like, you opening up a new office, starting a new firm, and it's just convenient that now basically you're saying I can use the free time to support you and your needs. But Phil was like, where's all this coming from? Like, nigga, what? What you mean, where's all this coming from? She been telling you this since season 1. She told you this in season 1 when she was first starting the art show. And he was telling their friends, oh, she was an artist or something like that. And basically telling, like, he just don't be as supportive as we need him to be. I mean, I still like Uncle Phil, but it's just like, when it comes to the Viv situation, I'd be like, bruh. But Viv, her character, like I said, comes off passive, but when it comes to Phil, she be getting in his ass. Which is deserved, because he just be saying anything. So Phil was like, where's all this coming from? So Phil was like, well, I've always encouraged you to run through your obstacles. And I just wish that you would tell me to run through mine. I'm just like, yes, like, tell her it's going to be okay. Don't tell her to just give up. It's not work. Like, no. So Will, he FaceTimes, damn, what is his mother name? If they did it right, then his mother name should be the same name that it was on the sitcom. I think her name was Vi, like short for Violet. I think that's what it is. And I put that. I put Violet, Vi for short. So he FaceTime his mom, Vi. He starts crying, emotional. She was like, I know, baby. I know you're dealing with a lot. Will was like, I wish I could just move on and forget that he ever existed. So I was like, damn, he fell for Doc that bad? I'm thinking he talking about Doc in this moment too. So Vi was like, I said Viv. Vi was like, who, Doc? Will was like, nah, Lou. Talking about his father. So Will was like, man, I looked him in his face and told him I didn't need him, but why does it still feel like I do? So I was like, well, he's still your father. You could hate him and still need him at the same time. You know, Will was upset. He's like, man, I keep putting my faith in all these people. They keep letting me down. He was like, what's wrong with me? And I was like, well, you just searching for something outside yourself. And nobody can control your destiny. She was like, none of the men in your life can control your destiny. Not your Uncle Phil, not Lou, not Doc. She don't say Jeffrey, but not Jeffrey. She's like, it's time for you to stop looking for answers in other people and look for the answer within yourself. So Hillary, she pops up at the mansion. I'm guessing it's for like to get some extra luggage because she has accepted the Paris trip with LaMarcus. So she like, thanks dad for the top Phil. Thanks dad for giving me this extra luggage. You know, I'm trying to pack all these nice little outfits. So Phil was like, oh, I didn't know you and LaMarcus were like serious again. Hillary was like, well, I wouldn't say we're serious. He thinks y'all is, girl. But he claiming, I don't want to look nothing into it. But last night was amazing. So, but she's like, yeah, well, I don't think we're serious. She's like, I just felt like it was a lot of drama with Jazz and LaMarcus is just like easy. So I was like, what does that even mean? Like, what you mean? So you think Jazz is just you just gonna go back to Jazz when it's not easy with LaMarcus no more? I was confused by that little comment. So then Phil and Viv low key is Team LaMarcus. They don't really even care for Jazz, which they have no reason to not care for Jazz. What has Jazz done for them to not like him? He is nothing like the Jazz in the sitcom. Even the Jazz in the sitcom wasn't that wow. He just used to say wow shit to get him kicked out. Like say something like a wake joke about Phil or something like that. But so Phil was like, well, you deserve a man that'll give you the moon and stars. So then Viv was like, and as Viv and Phil are he'll start to give Hillary this little advice or whatever, you can tell that they kind of like talking to each other. They even looking at each other when they say this stuff, but they talking, they basically like saying it like they saying it to Hillary, but they really not. So Viv was like, well, be careful, and Hillary was like, well, careful about what? Viv was like, well, even though guys like LaMarcus want to give you the world, don't get sidetracked by that comfort and lose sight of your own goals, which is true. Like, don't let that nigga make you think you don't gotta do nothing because he can take care of you and all that. Still have you be your own boss, have your own money. So Hillary was like, well, if I choose a guy like LaMarcus that wants to give me everything and all that, what does that say about me? Like, did I just care about the material things? That they're more important? So then here go Phil. When did it become wrong to appreciate nice things? Then Hillary tells them that Jazz accused her of being superficial. Did he though? Or did she just assume that that's how he was feeling and said that and he didn't say nothing back? I can't remember. Look, I can't remember. Maybe he did say it. But she was like, Jazz accused me of being superficial. And here I am going off to Paris. And she was like, damn, was Jazz right? She was like, maybe I should cancel the trip. Maybe I should just not go. Phil was like, nah. Which was surprising. I thought Viv would have said no. Phil was like, nah, the right kind of good dude would want to step his game up and not make you feel guilty about yours. So then this is what the part of Viv get to, well, as long as he supports the things that are important to you. She's looking at Phil, but like, she's looking at Phil when she say this, so we know she's talking to Phil basically, but we supposed to make it seem like she's talking to Hillary. So she was like, just make sure you do what's the best for you. I mean, make sure he supports the things that are important to you. Then Phil gets the words. Nothing wrong with a man that wants the best for you. It's not a crime. Saying it to Hillary, but looking at Viv. So, So Hillary feels this tension between the two. She's like, well, should I go? So then Viv gets, this your short, sweetie. Gets up and walks away. Then Phil gets the way, you just do what's best for you, and kisses her forehead and gets up. I'm like, oh, Lord. They done did all that in front of this girl. So then we get this little classroom scene. Carlton like giving speech. Like, Bel-Air Academy demands excellence, but at what cost? It's like we need to talk about the large amount of pressure students put themselves through with without very little room for failure. I wrote that shit word for word. And while he doing this speech, Drew like cheesing and shit. So I'm just like, what is sneaky conniving ass up to? So Mrs. Basson, she was like, the school thanks you, and throughout the year we're gonna be putting initiatives into place to help the students with all types of anxiety, mental health, all that. She's like, I'm so proud of you, Carlton. All the students started to clap. They started to disperse. Is that the word? Disperse out the room. So then Drew comes up to Carlton talking about something. I gotta give it to you. You're a genius. So I was like, here go Drew hating again. Hating, always hating. Even Carlson says in this moment, he was like, what, you hating on mental health now? You hating on mental health advocacy? Because Drew was like, oh, nah. He was like, it's just no matter how much I rooted against you and how much I tried to tell everybody exactly who you are, they still love you. Carlson feeling himself. He was like, well, that's called hard work. You should try it. Drew was like, is that the lie you tell? He's like, you're not fucking stupid. He's like, you know who you are. He calls Carlson a fucking fraud. He was like, you a fucking fraud, but somehow Lisa's still on your side. And I was like, oh Lord, I hope they don't got Carlson little mind running like he still got a chance with Lisa. But he was like, yeah, somehow Lisa's still on your side. And Drew was like, I'm not the bad guy. You're the bad guy. I'm just like, get your nut ass out of here. You're the annoying guy. You're the irritating snake ass guy. What did Will call him last episode? Captain Lightskin be doing some diabolical shit. So Will, he comes into Uncle Phil's office. I was surprised by this scene. He was like, Uncle Phil, I want to talk to you about Doc. See where your head at. Phil was like, well, you know what? I decided not to even help Doc. He was like, and if your eligibility come into question, we're going to do everything we can to fight it, I promise. Will was like, oh, look, I know I ain't got nothing to be worried about. I know you got me for sure. Phil like assuring him, like, no, you won't be punished for nothing. Will was like, I know you got me, da-da-da. He was like, but my mother helped me see things more differently. He was like, maybe it's some more things that I could do to help. Will saying this to Uncle Phil. He was like, I was hoping you would listen to them. And then he started ushering in some teammates from the Zenith, like 3 Zenith players. He was like, come in, y'all. So Phil like, what's up, boys? What's going on? So Will gets to tell Uncle Phil, like, yeah, when I first came to them in the locker room about Doc, they stood by Doc, and I didn't understand why. He's like, but now I know why. So Phil was like, well, let's hear it. So the 3 players start telling Phil why they've been rocking with Doc, and as they're telling Phil and Will this, Doc, they do flashes of Doc telling Phil and Will about the situation as well. So it's going to be like back and forth scenes. So you get this one player telling Phil and Will they wasn't happy to hear that Doc was taking money on the side. But they was like, but they didn't know about it. They absolutely didn't know about it. But they wasn't happy to hear about it when they actually found out. Then it flashes to Doc telling them that him and Lorenzo, it started with him and Lorenzo and they love for the game. He just wanted to help the boys. And then it flashes back to the players saying that, like, Doc isn't just some monster. He always made sure they didn't go without. Then it flashes back to Doc, and he says, like, he could see how corrupt the system was, how $1 billion industry was earning off the sweat of our kids. And before NIL deals, when they couldn't even make a dime type stuff. So he says he sees all this corrupt stuff happening. He was like, so he found a way to get in on the hustle, but like just not for himself, like to help his players too. That's what it's looking like. Because then the player starts to talk about, one of the players was like his mother lost his job. And then he found like a whole bunch of cash in his gym bag. He was like, that was Doc looking out. Then another player was like, Doc got his dad a suit for a job interview. And then another player was like, man, he got my dog. He got us groceries and gas money. He was like, he even got food for my dog. So he was like, we just don't talk about that type of stuff because a coach giving players like money and helping them and stuff and supporting them is like a red flag, and they ain't want them type of problems. So they telling Will and Phil this. Then they flash back to Doc. He's telling Will and Phil that the players know that they could come to him for whatever they need. He just holding them down until they can like afford for themselves, make it to play to the big leagues or whatever. So then Will turns to Phil. He's like, "Look, I know I could walk up out of here and you would make sure I'm straight." He's like, "But what about these players?" So that gets to Phil. He sees like it's not too much wrong. So he turns to Doc and like, "All right, tell me more about Lorenzo." So he changes his mind. So Viv invites Janice back over to the house. Janice's like, "I'm a very busy woman. I only came over because you said you wanted to apologize." I'm like, "Oh, Lord." So Viv was like, "Yeah, I want to apologize that it's come to this." She's like, "That it's come to this." And Viv was like, "You really want to smear my name in the press?" So Janice gets, I worked very hard to get where I am. I'm just not going to roll over. And Viv was like, "Well, that's a very clever strategy to stir up division in the ranks." She was like, "Well, I guess the board going to have a field day with this one." So then Janice was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean by that?" So I was like, what you think she means? So Viv gets the, she was like, two black women tearing each other apart. She's like, "They already think we can't get along and that we'd rather fight for the little ass scraps that they give us." So she was like, "So like, why not give them one more ugly narrative to talk about that they would love to talk about?" So Janice's face started to think like, "Oh man, that is wild." Like I was like, how did she not realize that trying to put that out there would backfire? But I was glad Viv actually said it. I was thinking that before even this scene. I was like, well, how does Janice? Because I was like, how does Janice think this is going to help? So then Viv was like, or we can hand them another narrative. So she hands Janice a paper, and Janice like, a press release. So Viv was like, well, I'd rather write a story about you being an innovative leader who opened doors and transformed the art world for people like myself. She was like, and then you decided to retire and travel and spend more time with your grandkids in Detroit. So Janice's face looking like, oh, hell no. Nah. But I was like, okay, Viv, I see you. So Janice was like, you're not backing down, huh? And Viv was like, nope, not one bit. Viv was like, man, Janice, it's just time to move on. I was like, damn, tell her like it is. Like, it's time to move on. She was like, and if it's not me, it's going to be somebody else. And we don't know if that somebody else is going to be even somebody that look like us, like a person of color. So she was like, you don't even know if the people going to look like us. So Viv, she was like, you don't want the legacy. She was like, you want the legacy to, what she say? She was like, do you want the legacy that you built to continue? Yeah, she was like, do you want the legacy that you built to continue? And she was like, well, pass the torch to somebody that's going to hold it as high as you held it. Viv was like, she grabs her hand like, I got this. Like, you know it's in good hands. Even though you be hating on me, you know I got this. They don't show Janice's answer until later in the episode. So then, Guy pops up in Doc's office. We find out it's Lorenzo. I already knew it was Lorenzo. It was just we could tell by the scene. Did they show Lorenzo before? I can't remember, but he shows up in Doc's office. He sees Phil, so he automatically thinking like, oh, what's going on? So he like, oh, man, I thought you wanted to negotiate, Doc. So Doc was like, I do. Meet my lawyer. Points at Phil. Phil gets up. Philip Banks. Big Banks, if you... So Phil was like, he's like, I just got a couple questions for you. Won't take long. Come on in. Phil was like, I looked at your record. I see some petty theft, property damage, resisting arrest. He was like, oh, here's the big one. He was like, busted in a drug raid. He was like, so your buddy's still doing time for that bid. I mean, still doing time for that raid. He was like, why ain't you doing no time for it? So Lorenzo was like, well, the charges was dropped. Simple as that. Phil was like, well, could be that simple. No, he said it could be that simple that you have some friends in the LAPD. I was like, oh shit. Phil went this way, like getting some dirt. Well, you know, Doc told him I need some of that Phillip Banks gangster shit, like getting somebody off a gun charge, whatever. So he was like, yeah, seems like you have some friends at the LAPD. And Phil was like, well, I know I do. He was like, Chief of Police, nice guy. And I was like, ain't the chief of police, that's Lisa's dad, ain't it? And they kind of like not getting along. I can't remember. But he was like, Chief of Police, nice guy. So Lorenzo looking at Doc was like, you know a lot of people. Like, what can I say? So Phil get that, well, people may suggest that you cooperating with the cops for your freedom. He was like, Phil was like, one call from me and your paperwork is online. I was like, God, they got his ass. Doc was like, you think the homies would be interested in that? Lorenzo was like, man, when it come down to it, me or you, they always gonna ride with me. They gonna have my back all day. So Doc get the man like, how long you gonna hold on to this petty ass judge? It's getting old. I mean, I said judge. How long you gonna hang on to this petty ass grudge? It's getting old. Da da da. Lorenzo was like, he was like, when you come off your high horse. So he don't even, well, he cares about the money, but at first it was just like, he don't even care about the money, whatever it is. Like, he just don't want Doc to win, basically. And it's kind of like Doc, you doing now what Lorenzo was doing, except Lorenzo was doing it with street niggas and you doing it with like actual agents and scouts and stuff. But anyway, so Lorenzo was like, what hood money ain't good for you no more? Asking Doc that. He was like, you forgot where you came from. Lorenzo was like, he says, fuck you to Doc. And then he turns to Phil and was like, and sir, fuck you too. Phil was like, oh. That shit was funny though. He was like, sir, and fuck you too. So he tries to leave, and you know, Big 007 Jeffrey, right there, like, oh, I don't think the conversation was over. Like, I don't think we're done here. So Phil was like, well, I'm happy to leave and let y'all two figure it out. But these boys, the Zenith players, like, these boys put their lives in your hands, and they at home scared that their dreams could be snatched away because these two grown-ass men can't get past their bullshit. So, like, yeah. Putting these kids' lives in danger before they even get started, before they even get to college. So it's wild. Oh no, is Zenith a college facility? I don't remember. I don't know. So Phil was like, man, look, I know y'all set out to do something great, talking about Doc and Lorenzo. He was like, trust me, I know how it is when partnerships don't. He was like, I know how it is. Partnerships don't last forever because you know he just had to end his partnership with Jamie. He was like, but Doc he tells Lorenzo, but like, Doc is offering you a very generous payout. He was like, twice than what it was before, as a matter of fact. Phil was like, you could build your own team, Lorenzo, and take money from whoever the fuck you want. He's like, but just let these boys, these Zenith players, have the future that they deserve. So Lorenzo signs the shit. So hopefully that's the last we see of Lorenzo. But I doubt it. I doubt it. Because he got a real hard on for Doc. So I don't think that's the last we're going to see of Lorenzo. So the Bel-Air coach and the players from Bel-Air, they pop up to the hood court that we'll be playing at. Ty asking the coach, like, why are we here or whatever. So Will walks up, and coach like, thanks for inviting us, Will. And Ty was like, what we doing here, Will? So Will was like, well, Ty, you always got my back. It's time for me to have y'all back now. Return the favor. He tells the team, like, y'all came too far to not make it to semifinals, so I'm gonna show y'all some tricks. He was like, I bought some of my players. Ty was like, oh, those are Zenith players. Will was like, yeah, we're gonna do a little scrimmage. Will was like, if y'all want to beat St. Paul, y'all gotta level up. So the team, they started to walk over to the court, and before Will walks off, the coach was like, let me talk to you, Will. He was like, it takes an unselfish player to want to see his team succeed, even when he's not on the team anymore. He was like, that's all I wanted to see. Like, that's all I wanted to see when he was on the team, because he was super cocky on the team and all that. He felt like he was the best, but he was the best player. Look at him pulling the team out here to show them some tricks. He was like, that's all I wanted to see when you was actually on the team. Tells him you still want to play for Bel-Air next season. You come holler at me. Will was like, oh, thank you. You know I am. So I'm like, oh, so is he going to play for AAU still? Or is he going to go back to Bel-Air? Because this Doc's still going to get them kickbacks. I don't know. So Phil, he's back at that space that he was showing to Erica. He's looking at the paper. He's like, it's official. He's like, well, I'm assuming that that's the space for his new firm. He's like, it's official. Jeffrey come in like, why my office smaller than yours? So Phil asked Jeffrey, he was like, you ready to build an empire, G? Jeffrey was like, you're done now. I don't know what he said. You're done now. He was like, yeah, I don't know what took us so long in the first place. So then Jeffrey gets a call from an unknown number. He ignores it. Phil sees, he's like, everything okay? And Jeffrey tells him, like, I keep getting missed calls from an unknown number. He was like, every time he answers, nobody picks up. So they looking like, Then Erica walks in. And this is, I already hated her ass, so this just made me hate her even more. Like, they want us to hate her character, and they doing a good job. So, so she comes in, she's like, congratulations. Like, the partners agreed. It's a smart business move. You know, Jeffrey, he excuses himself. He don't want to be around her thirsty ass. I don't blame you, Jeffrey. Why not come for Jeffrey? Jeffrey's a nice looking guy too. Why are you coming after the married one? It's so annoying. So she asked Phil, like, how you feeling? Starting a new firm, da-da-da. Phil was like, I feel fucking fantastic. Eric was like, well, you know, you deserve this. She was like, we deserve this, and hugs him, and then gives him like a pet kiss on the cheek, like a quick little jump. On the lip. I mean, not the cheek, the lips. On the lips. And I'm just like, you wild ass bitch. Like, you is a wild bitch. Like what? She wild, bruh. Never trust him. So I'm just like, should Phil have told her? Should Phil have told Viv? Because right after that happens, Phil says, what do you say? I knew I ain't like this bitch. But yeah, like, you wild bitch. But Eric was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Phil was like, we got to keep this professional. That can't happen again. Eric was like, oh, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely. I'm like, but you don't, though. Because you shouldn't have even made that move. So I'm like, even though Phil said that in this moment, should he have still went and told Viv what happened? She deserves an ass whooping now. Because you kikiing with his wife and all that. Like, I don't like that. Like, bro, you was wild. I do not like that. That throws me off. So he's like, yeah, we can't do that. She's like, yeah, absolutely. And it was like, you don't agree with that. She was like, it won't happen again. I'm just like. So then she gestures to the little bottle that she brought in there for him. Talking something, oh, I hope you and Viv enjoy this bottle. And I'm just like, how you kiss that man and then in the same sense try to bring up his wife? Like, bruh. Like, nah, bruh. So he was like, oh, thank you for the bottle, whatever. She leaves. Jeffrey comes back in. So in my mind, first I was like, did Jeffrey see it? But he immediately hands Phil a napkin to like wipe the lipstick off his lips. So Jeffrey seen it. He comes back in. I'm getting cold. He was like, is it too late to reconsider this offer? Because after what I just seen, basically. So Phil was like, nah, this is happening. Jeffrey was like, man, a woman like that desires you like that, make a man feel good about anything. He was like, be careful, Phil. So Phil was like, I can handle Erica. He starts to wipe the lipstick off his lips. He's like, it's just a part of playing her little game, but I can manage it. And I'm just like, no, like, why are you playing a little game? This should be just business. It should be business. It shouldn't be no little game or anything. That's why I was mad in the first place that he agreed to work with her. I mean, I like that now he don't have to work like side by side by her. What's that cat here? That he don't have to work like side by her. Yeah, it is. Goddamn Sandy cat. She's like, yeah. So I'm just happy that they didn't have to. I'm happy that they don't have to work side by side. But it's still like, why do you have to play her little game? It shouldn't be no little game. What the fuck? That's annoying. This thirsty ass wild bitch. I really don't like her. So I'm sure I'm sure the actual person that plays her character is amazing. Is a nice person, but her character, I can't stand the bitch. But I just sounded like Fatima from Sisters when I said that. I can't stand the bitch. I might review Sisters when they come back on. It's gone off right now. So go catch up on that. Tyler Perry Sisters, whatever. I'm not about to review Fatima. That's gone off and it's 30 minutes. So no. Anyway, I'm going off track. So Carlton is in his room practicing for his acceptance speech before he even wins the damn Founders Award. Wills comes in like, ain't it bad luck to practice your acceptance speech before you even win? So, you know, Carlton, he still ain't fucking with Will. He's like, man, can I help you with something, Will? So Will was like, man. So Will trying to get back on good terms. He was like, I always wanted a brother. And now I kind of like know what it feels like. He's like, sometimes you just want to kick his ass. So he's like, but we made it through junior year without killing each other, so that's a win in my book. He just talking hella shit. Carlton not even really paying it no mind. I mean, of course he's listening, but he ain't acknowledging it. So he was like, he tells Carlton like, I know what it's like to have a foot in two worlds. He's like, I fought so hard to not. He says I tried so hard to hold on to West Philly Will. He's like, whatever that is. He was like, but the truth is, he's not the same guy. He tells Carlton, neither are you, and that's okay. He was like, this whole Connor and Carlton vibe. He was like, you don't have to go back to being that dude. Will was like, look, I know I've been distant, but I'm still your ace. I'm still here for you. Carlton don't say nothing but, got it. See you downstairs. I was like, God damn. Your cousin trying to come back and be cool with you. He says you like a brother to him. We get the real close family vibes this episode. Will say like a brother to him. Ashley say they like Will like a brother. We get the family vibes this episode, this finale. So then Will, he come downstairs, you know, he flexing his suit off. It's the night of the Founders Award. He like, I look good. Phil, and he was like, how I look, Uncle Phil? Phil was like, you know, you look great. He was like, but how do you feel? Will was like, I feel good. He was like, I never wore tux before. Phil was like, well, you better get used to it because your future is bright. He's like, I'm so proud of you for stepping up and helping everybody today. And Will was like, well, thank you too, Uncle Phil. Like you helped out the Zenith players, giving them a second chance. My back is the coldest. I'm trying to cover it. Says, yeah, you gave them Zenith players a second chance. He was like, the players even was saying they wish they had an Uncle Phil. He was like, I'm glad I got one. I was like, oh, that was so sweet. He tells Uncle Phil he loves him. He's like, I love you, Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil was like, I love you too. They had a little moment, they hugged. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. They back good. They good now. Then Will jokingly, it might not be a joke. You never know what happens season 3. Will was like, well, shit, after seeing you in action, I think I might get a little lawyer in me. Phil was like, oh yeah. Will was like, yeah, I think I'm thinking about sports laws, like helping out, you know, you need some more good guys like us to help out these agents. We need more good guys like us looking out for the athletes and stuff. He was like, what about Will Smith and Associates? What you think about that? So Phil was like, yeah, I like that. They chuckling about that. And then Viv, Carlton, and Ashley, they come downstairs. Viv like, you know, boys, you look good. You clean up nice. She was like, you know what? No matter who wins, it's still a celebration. And then we get this little moment from Ashley. It's so sweet. She was like, and I will still be lucky to have both of you. She was like, I still be lucky to have 2 big brothers to look up to. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. She was like, after the protest, I never got to thank you guys. After what happened with Big Ashley and all that. So then she starts to thank them individually. She looks to Will. She says, thank you, Will, for not letting me give up on myself when I wanted to. Remember, he kept telling her, he gave her posters back and was like, don't give up. You can take your little soak lap. You can take your little soak now, but you get back up and keep moving. So she was like, thank you for that. And she was like, she'll never forget it. She was like, yeah, well, you told me to keep going, and I'll never forget that. She hands Will this green, what is it, green envelope? And we find out later in the episode that they're letters, basically. Just saying how much she loves and appreciates them. So she hands him the green envelope. And we don't see what Will says in this episode, but we see what Carlton says. Carlton says in the end. So she hands him the green envelope. Will says thank you. Then Ashley turns to Carlton. She was like, you showed me that it's okay to be unapologetically me. She's like, I got the courage to be me now, and it's because of you. She says, thank you for that. Hands Carlton the yellow envelope. Carlton says, thank you too. But you can see in his face a little bit, he feel kind of guilty. Like, damn, my little sister looking up to me, and I'm out here doing coke. So, so he's like, thank you. She gives both of them a huge hug. She tells them that they're her heroes. And they thank her again. It's a big family moment. So I was like, this is nice. Carlton, I put Carlton looking hella guilty here. So now we have the Founders Day Awards. I said the Founders Day. The Founders Awards. Everybody there mingling, this, that, and the third. Jeffrey approaches Phil, tells him he traced the calls from the unknown number, and they coming from a phone in East London. So I'm immediately thinking, like, is that his son, like, this calling his phone just to see if he's still, like, kicking it? I don't know. I was like, is that where his son living at? Is his son in East London? I don't know. But he tells Phil that. We get these little scenes between people just having little conversations. So then Drew, he approaches Lisa. He like, you look beautiful tonight. And I will say, Lisa looked at super, I mean, she pretty. She be looking pretty and all that, but for the most part, we see her in like school clothes or like just hanging out around the town or whatever, clothes or whatever, but this is like a formal event. So she looked like hella good. Makeup beat. She got a nice little dress on. Her hair is like in this curly little situation. She looks super cute. So he walks up, he's like, you look super beautiful tonight. She's like, thank you. So then Drew immediately says, I did leak the video. So Lisa don't even move. But her face expression just like I kind of knew, and it's irritating, whatever. So he was like, I did leak the video. He was like, I know I can be an asshole sometimes. I just like to call bullshit when I see it. And I'm just like, well, the way you call bullshit is not nice. You call bullshit like you trying to pick a fight. Calling bullshit is just trying to like tell somebody that what they doing is not right. But the way you do it is wild. So he was like, I call bullshit when I see it. And he was like, and I see it right now. So he was like, you'll never be open to me or anybody else until you get past your this thing you got with Will. So Lisa's face kind of make a little. So he was like, you can not. He was like, you can deny it all you want, Lisa. He was like, but you be the one that wouldn't be. Then he was like, but then you be the one not being honest. I was like, get your ass up out of here. Get up out of here. You lucky she gave your ass a chance. You knew she had just got out of a relationship with Will, and you still was trying to talk to her. So what that say about you? Get your nut ass out of here. But so then they get to. I just had to come. I'm all over the place right now because I'm cold and I don't have my heater up here. So yeah. So then Jazz goes up to Will, like he's like, I'd rather see you looking like this than on the street court. Not even acknowledging Will saying fuck you to him earlier in the episode. So Jazz was like, well, I will admit though, you look fly. Jazz, Will was like, I'm trying to look like you. You know how black people compliment each other. Like, I'm trying to look like you, fool. He's like, nah, that's you, bruh. You know how they do. So Will was like, well, Will starts, Will, I was like, this should be happening right now. He was like, I appreciate you for always looking out for me and always looking out for me and putting up with my bullshit. Jazz was like, don't even trip. He's like, we boys. On the court, when Jazz was breaking up the situation with Will and the big dude, he says that that's his cousin. I would hope that that's not his cousin. I hope that that's something that Jazz just said. Because I was like, if y'all cousins, wouldn't that make you and Hillary somewhat related? I don't know. Oh, no, they wouldn't be related because Hillary and Will are related through Viv and not Phil. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I forget, whatever. But yeah. So he was like, don't even trip about it. Like, you my man's. Where am I? And then they do the iconic Jazz and Will handshake. You know where they do the. Psh. I was like, oh, they do that little iconic handshake. Then Jazz asks Will, like, I said Jazz asks Will. Yeah, Jazz asks Will if Hillary's coming. He like, is Hillary coming? So then in this moment, I was like, why did Will word it like this? But then we find out at the end of this conversation why he worded it like that. But he says, what if I told you that she was on a plane right now to Paris with LaMarcus? So Jazz was like, what? He was like, I knew it, man. I seen it on IG, man. Can't say I ain't see it coming. So then Will asked him, he was like, well, outside of LaMarcus, how are you feeling? But Jazz was like, man, I feel like I may have messed up the best thing that's ever happened to me. So Will smiles and like, well, I'm glad to hear that. He's like, because it's not too late to tell her. So I'm thinking like, oh, snap, Hillary about to walk in? But then Jazz was like, what do you mean? Like, you just said, Will cussed him off and was like, well, I said, what if she's on a plane? He was like, her plane don't leave for another couple of hours. You could still catch her. He was like, you better get out of here. And Jazz was like, good luck. Daps him up. He rolls out. Then Doc walks up to Will. Daps him up like, West Philly, what's going on? So I'm like, oh, so they just cool now? After Doc betrayed him? He was like, just some other nigga that's trying to get it come up. That's what we told Doc. But I guess after hearing the stories from the players and hearing Doc's side, it's kind of like Doc is being shady, but he using his shady money to help the players as well. So he ain't just helping himself. So I guess Will and Phil could kind of appreciate that. So he daps him up like, what's up, West Philly? He tells Will, like, your Uncle Phil invited me. Will was like, well, yeah, I did tell him that you was the reason. Your advice was the reason why I stayed in the running for this award. So Doc was like, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you listened. He was like, I'm proud of you, young Will. I was like, does that even mean anything for Will? That your shady ass is proud of him? But he was like, I'm proud of you. So then Doc walks off and Will and Lisa start staring at each other across the room. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, Lisa looking hella good tonight. Will already been trying to get that old thing back. He asked that question about, do you think that's best that we stay friends? So as they staring each other down, here come little shady ass, little shady thirsty, Jackie. She walk up. Oh, this is where I put Lisa looks good tonight. But it's not like she don't look good every night. I put that, yeah. I mean, it's not like she don't look good every episode, whatever. But not to say that she just look good just here or whatever. So as they staring each other down, here come Jackie, shady, thirsty ass. She approaches Will. She's like, congratulations. Will was like, oh, Jackie, thanks. She was like, it seems like everybody made up but us. And I'm just like, bye. Get out of here. He's like, get out of here, little gnat. I don't even know what to call her. Just like, girl, get out of here. She's like at the same level as Erica with me. I don't like neither one of them. So she's like, it seems like everybody made up but us. Yeah, I put girl with the rolling eye emoji. Like, girl. Will was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, Doc is your family, so I get it. She says again, like she said the last episode. I was like, again, really? She was like, things was just complicated. I'm just like, girl, whatever. Like, I'm annoyed by you. So then Will was like, yeah, I just wish things could have started differently. And as he says that, he's looking over at Lisa. Like, you wish things had started differently. Basically saying you wish you could be with Lisa right now. So then Jackie's like, well, we still got time. So, she still want to talk to Will. She's like, we still got time for a do-over. So then Viv comes over and was like, Jackie! Right on time. Like, perfect timing. Like, Jackie, how are you, sweetie? So Will notices Lisa starting to walk off. So Will was like, I'll be back. And leaves Jackie with Viv. Jackie look good as hell. So then we get this little scene. I mentioned this, last episode? Maybe last episode. Was that the episode where they had the little football, the football collab party or whatever. I think so, but yeah. So last episode, Ashley finally said that she was queer. I mean, I think she brought it up in season 1 when she was talking with someone, but she actually said that she was a queer person last episode. So we know she's a queer person. So I said last episode, I was like, what if she started talking to the little white girl that she thought snitched on Big Ashley? So the little white girl's name is Olivia. So she's at this Founders Award, and she goes up to Ashley. They greet each other. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Ashley. They compliment each other. You know, Ashley's like, I like your little pantsuit. Ashley's like, I like your rainbow pen. So basically alluding to Olivia is queer as well. So they both giving each other little eyes like, oh, you're queer, I'm queer. So Olivia was like, you want to hang out this summer? Ashley quickly, yes, perfect. I mean, definitely. She says like, absolutely. So we know we probably gonna see something there. I was like, okay. Look, yeah, I see a couple forming. So then we get to this scene. And I told y'all niggas. I didn't think it was gonna come till season 3. But it actually came on this finale. So we get to this scene. Will, you know, he ran to catch up with Lisa. And he gets to telling Lisa, you know, like what you just saw with Jackie. She cuts him off. She was like, you don't have to explain anything, Will. We're just friends. Like, I was serious about that. She was like, I don't want neither one of us to get hurt. But her face is saying, like, you could tell Lisa's face is saying, kiss me right now. That's what her face saying, but she's saying, I don't even want neither one of us to get hurt. And it's wild because Will never even got to tell Lisa. Will never even got to tell Lisa that he was with Jackie. I think Jackie just caught them doing something. She hid and watched them doing something. Well, maybe I'm thinking of Power. I don't know, but I don't remember Will ever telling Lisa that him and Jackie was a thing. So it's wild that Lisa was just like down to kiss him. Not even knowing if he was still with Jackie. But I guess she just assumed off the way he came in trying to tell her that it wasn't nothing with Jackie. So she was like, yeah, I don't got nothing to worry about. Just friends. I was serious about that. Don't want neither one of us to get hurt. She was like, no feelings have to be involved. So then Will gets closer. He's like, what if it's too late for that? He's like, you told me that life gives you what you need. And I need you in my life. I was like, oh, snap. You're all I need to get back. Nothing makes a man feel better than a woman. But yeah, he was like, you, and I need you in my life. There's another song that says that too, but I can't even think of it. That was the first one that came to mind. But then so then Lisa was like, well, I thought, and Will was like, fuck. No, he was like, Lisa was like, well, we said, and Will was like, fuck what we said. Fuck what I said. It don't mean shit now. But yeah, he was like, fuck what we said. He was like, how do you feel? And then they start kissing. I told y'all niggas. Yeah, I told y'all niggas. But yeah, so Lisa and Will back again. So then Carlton, you know, he trying to get him a little bump before he win this award. Oh, spoiler alert, Carlton wins the award. So he had his locker snorting the coke or whatever. So Ashley catches him. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you know. He's like, it's Xanax. I put right here, so now I know what he been snorting. But the whole time he was lying and Ashley had to bomb his ass out. So I'm thinking it's Xanax too. I was like, that's what the white kids be, and he hang with the white kids. So he was like, it's Xanax. It helps calm my nerves, and I got a lot of them tonight. Got a bunch of them. Tries to like deflect. Started to try to deflect and was like, well, what's up, Ashley? So Ashley looks super disappointed. She's like, I just wanted to give you these. And she hands him something. It looks like it's like index cards maybe with his acceptance speech on them. So he gets the, oh yeah, thanks. I would have been screwed without these. Just keep trying to say random stuff. Ashley looking hella sad. Carlton's like, well, maybe we should head on back. Ashley was like, that's not Xanax. She's like, that's not Xanax. Carlton was like, what do you mean? Ashley was like, I'm not stupid. Carlton was like, Ashley was like, I'm not stupid. Carlton was like, man, just let it go, Ashley. For me, let it go. Ashley tries to leave. Ashley was like, I can't do that. Tries to walk away. And Jeffrey grabs her up. And I was like, oh no, you completely out of line. Like, now you letting them drugs get the best of your ass, touching your little sister like that. You grabbing up your little sister like that. You wild as hell. So he grabs her up, talking about, you ain't gonna say a goddamn thing. Are you? So Ashley was like, okay, I won't. And she starts to cry and runs off. I was like, poor little Ashley, that was messed up, Carlton. Shame on you. But he feels like he did something. He knows he was wrong when it gets towards the end of this episode. So then Jazz, he pop up on Hillary. Gotta prove every night. I gotta fight every night to prove my love. Hold my drink. What movie is that from? I can't even remember. But was it from Class Act? Like, you're supposed to be my woman. But so Jazz, he pops up on Hillary. She getting ready to leave. She getting her last little things together. He comes in. She thought he was somebody else, like a driver. She probably thought he was a driver or something. She's like, coming. Opens the door. He catches her completely off guard. She's like, now's not a good time. No, he was like, I heard you leaving. And she was like, yeah, it's not. He was like, I heard you leaving. And she was like, it's not a good time, Jazz. Jazz was like, well, look, I'll take all the time I can get. I don't want no regrets, so leave anything unsaid. Henry was like, what else is there to say? And Jazz was like, well, there's a lot to say. He was like, you're perfect, beautiful, smart, funny. He was like, sexy as hell. He was like, and you got that whole career shit going for you. He was like, there's no way I deserve a girl like you. He was like, so all the stuff he said and did was just him pushing her away before she could do it to him. So then Hillary, she was like, I didn't get out of bed. I sent all my calls to voicemail, didn't go to my appointments because I was that hurt. So she was like, you was protecting your heart, but who was protecting mine? So Jazz was like, man, you know I never meant to hurt you. She was like, I don't never want to feel that way again. I'm thinking she about to say, I don't never want to feel that way again. And then they kiss. But then Jazz was like, I know, but love hurts. So I'm assuming in this moment that they never said I love you to each other. I guess they haven't. Because then she turns to him looking shocked. And he was like, yes, Hillary, I love you. So I was like, oh, snap. He was like, and I never told any other woman that other than my mother. So she was like, can you promise me that it's not going to hurt again? So they both started to get teary-eyed. And Jazz was like, I can't promise, but he was like, but I'm willing to take that chance on you. He was like, you willing to take that chance on me? She was like, I don't know. Jazz was like, well, when you know where I be at. And then he gives her like this strong, passionate ass kiss and leaves like let me remind you what you would be missing type kiss. I was like, you better represent, Jazz. So now they present Mrs. Basson to the stage to present the Founders Award. She's like, this award is the school's most prestigious honor. It's like, for decades, it's always gone to the junior that exemplifies the dignity and excellence and leadership and all that. Carlson looking hella guilty. So then she announced the award. The award goes to Carlton. Even though I already said that. Everybody started cheering and all that. Ashley still looked upset. Which I don't blame her. Like, he winning this award. He just put his hands on her. He a drug addict. And Jeffrey sees Ashley looking upset, not even applauding or nothing. He's looking suspicious of that as well. So then Will, he goes up, he gives Carlton his congratulations. Like, your crown waiting for you before you came. Like, ushers him to walk to the stage and say his speech. So Carlton, he thanks everyone. He starts to tell his speech. He's like, thank you, faculty, trustees, students, for this honor. Connor out in the audience cheesing like he just won and shit. But then he says, thank you for the students, trustees, and all that. Then he gets to his family. He's like, thank you to my family. And then he pauses. He was like, because he paused and he's like, because without you, still freezing up. Then he just stops. He was like, man, He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I just want to apologize because I led all of you to believe that I was worthy of this award, but I'm not. And he was like, because I'm a drug addict. And everybody's like, scoffs. Oh, gasp. He was like, and I'm pretty fucking good at it too. He was like, I'm high on coke most days. He was like, hell, I'm high right now. He was like, I'm high right now. Connor shaking his head like, God damn it. Connor shaking his head like, please just don't tell him who your supplier is. Because you know it's him. So Connor shaking his head like, oh, goddamn. You know, the Banks family, they looking wild. They looking like... And they never even show Will's face as Carlton saying all this. They show Lisa's face. They show the Banks' face. All that. Jeffrey's face. They don't even show Will's face. So he was like, yeah, I'm high on coke right now. He was like, I know how to do and say anything and everything to make people believe what I want them to. He was like, but he looks at the people who love and support him he looks at the people that love and support him every day, and he lies to their face. He was like, he don't want to do that no more. He was like, he definitely he definitely not nobody's hero. And he walks off the stage. So you get that whole thing. And I'm like, why Carlton got to keep telling all his business to big crowds and shit? Like he told everybody about his diagnosis of anxiety and depression and mood swings. I mean, not depression, but anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that. He admitted to all that at the bowling alley. And now he gets to this Founders Award. And I guess it's the right time because he felt guilty because he won an award where he don't feel like he deserves it. So I guess. But I just feel like, damn, Carlton keeps yelling all this business out at public events and shit. Or like public places. But anyway, we back at the mansion. And you know Viv, she's like, kids, let me talk, me and Uncle Phil need to talk to Carlton privately. So, you know, Will, he tells Carlton before they step off, he's like, it took a lot of courage to do that, see. He's like, I'm proud of you, you know, I'm here for you, whatever you need. You know, I love you, bro. Carlton's like, thanks, Will. And Carlton tried to apologize to Ashley. Ashley is still ain't hearing that shit. She walks off on his ass. It's going to take Ashley some time. You know kids be stubborn. So, Will and Ashley, they leave the room. Carlton, Viv, Phil, they in the living room. Viv just like, I don't even know where to start. She was like, cocaine? She was like, this is serious. So Phil pissed. He's like, how long? He was like, how long have you been doing this shit? So Viv, she's like, Phil, he was like, nah, let me talk to my son, please. So I was like, oh, Phil is angry. He was like, how long? So Carlton was like 2, maybe 3. Phil was like, years? Carlton was like, he ain't nod yes, but it's basically like a yes. So Phil started asking all type of questions. He was like, where do you keep it? Carlton was like stuttering and stuff. And Phil was like, in this house? He was like, where you get it from? And Carlton was like, well, it's not that hard to find, Dad. Not trying to bomb out counter. Phil was like, well, who do you do it with? And Carlton was like, well, it's Bel-Air, Dad. Everyone does it. Phil was like, well, how do you pay for it? Because you don't have no job. Carlton was like, well, I have money. What are you talking about? I have money. Phil was like, yeah, you get a weekly allowance for not doing a damn thing. That we get a weekly allowance that we give you for not doing a damn thing. So then Carlton looks at Viv at this moment, and then Phil said something that all black parents be saying. He was like, oh, wait. Damn, is that the moment? Where is it? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, in this moment, Phil said, Carlton looks at Viv. So, in this moment, Phil says something that black parents be saying. He says, don't look at her. She ain't gonna, you know, black parents be like, don't look at them. They can't help you when they getting whooped or something. Like, don't look at them. They can't help you when you looking at your siblings or looking at whoever else in the room. Don't look at them. They can't help you. So he tells Carlton, don't look at her. She can't bail you out. So Bill was like, well, how about we just take a breath? She's like, now's not the time. Phil was like, well, when is the time? Like when we find him strung out in his room or in the streets or when we bury him? Because he ain't got the backbone to say no to what everybody else doing in Bel-Air. Like, tries to like back up what Carlton said, because, Carlton like, it's Bel-Air, Dad. Everyone does it. So Carlton, he's like, he stuttering, I'm sorry, Dad. Phil was like, whatever you needed, we made sure you had it. The best schools, therapists, doctors, assessments, all that. He's like, we gave you the best of everything we got. I mean, he was like, I gave you the best of everything I got. He says that to Carlton. Carlton cuts him off and was like, and you wish you had a stronger son. And Phil kind of like catches him off guard. He catches Phil off guard. He's like, yeah, you wish you had a stronger son who didn't need meds or have anxiety or panic attacks. He was like, trust me, I know I'm not the son you dreamed of. So Phil looks at Viv. He's starting to look at Viv like, now he's looking at Viv like, do you want to interject? But he's looking at Viv or whatever, and then he gets to saying, he was like, man, if I grew up with half the things you had, like the opportunities, Carlton was like, yes, I know. You came from nothing, and you never let me forget it. He was like, you never let me forget how lucky I am. But then Phil was like, how many times do I have to apologize for giving everybody a great fucking life? So he gets super pissed and he just walk off. He walks off. Phil walks off. He was like, I'm done taking the blame, and storms off. That's what he said. I'm done taking the blame, and storms off. So then Viv, she grabs up Carlton. She's like, just give your father time. Like, yeah, we're going to make sure you get better. That's a promise. I'm just like, there Viv go being passive again. Like, no, this is a serious issue. You should be just as angry as Phil is. I mean, I get it. She want to have a better approach. I don't know. But back in their bedroom, Viv goes to Phil. Phil telling her, like, look, I know I didn't respond the best. I'm just going to need some time with this. Viv was like, we just need to all give each other grace right now. Phil was like, man, after all we've done and tried, it just feels like, Viv cuts him off, like, feels like we failed. But she says, no, we failed. She says we failed. Viv was like, are we that busy and that checked out that we didn't see the signs? Like, how did we miss it? So Phil was like, well, now with the moves we making, our lives going to only get busier. Viv was like, yeah, now Carlton's going to need our support more than ever now. And Phil was like, we're going to figure it out. Viv was like, yes, we will. So even though they having that little tiff, they still know that this is serious. So they hugging up on each other. They need that for each other. No. It didn't get better for Phil and Viv. I just thought about it. Because something happens toward the end that made me mad. So then they show these little scenes. Hillary knocking on the door. And Jazz is somebody at Jazz's door. So I'm thinking Hillary chose Jazz, yes. But then they opened the doors. Jazz, it's a package for Jazz. And Hillary went to LaMarcus. So she chose LaMarcus. I was like, oh, man, bad move, Hillary. You can get tired of that materialistic guy. And then Jeffrey is sitting at his desk, and he gets some type of mail, and it looks like a surveillance photo of his son. And it makes him look away. So I'm just like, oh, snap. Is they after his son now? I don't know. The people that he used to play with, that he used to run with. Because maybe he told his son, like, I had I wanted to keep you from danger or whatever. So that's why I had you, that's why you was away from me. So then Carlton, he's reading the letter that Ashley gave them earlier, right before the Founders Award. And the letter basically was like, he the best bro. She proud of him. He's her hero no matter what. You know, she gonna always be, she glad to have somebody always there like him and all that. So Phil then comes in Carlton's room. And they just hug. And Phil starts bawling in his arms. So then Viv is looking at this press release, and Janice has stepped down. She's retired. So she took Viv's advice, and she's stepping down. And then Viv is also, you can see online on her computer, she also looking for rehab facilities, obviously for Carlton. So then we get this part with Erica's thirsty ass. She's like, this is why I said she talking about, I understand it won't happen again and all that. Talking about something, she agrees with him. They gotta stay professional. But then you do stuff like this. So then she texts Phil talking about some you want to grab dinner to talk work. To talk work. I'm just like, whatever. Talking about my treat. And I'm just so irritated. So Phil gets the typing now's not a good time. What do you say? No, he say he can't tonight. And I'm in my head like, it shouldn't be no night. Talking about you can't tonight? No, I can't no night. What you mean? I'm a married man. Go find you a single man and step off. But he gets the typing I can't tonight. But then he erases it. Yeah, I put should be saying he can't ever. But yeah, then he erases it and puts sure. So I'm just like, bruh, you ain't even really got nothing to be mad at Viv about. Like, what? What did you doing this because of Carlton? You about to step out your marriage? Like, wow. I never saw this storyline coming for Phil and Viv. That was wild. That was kind of like the final scene, but then we get this little scene flash as Will and Lisa, they walking like through campus or whatever. Will talking about, it's been a hell of a junior year. He's like, I'm just glad we got through it. He was like, we're going to be there for Carlton. Lisa's like, for sure. Lisa was like, yeah, and as wild as that night was, she was like, I'm glad it got all out there. Will was like, yeah, same. Like, they were both saying, like, Carlton going to be okay. Probably going to go to rehab during the summer. That's probably what's going to be. So Lisa was like, man, I just need a break from this place. Will was like, well, shoot, me, I'm ready to let Bel-Air know what's up. Lisa was like, oh, now you ready. Will was like, yeah, the Prince of Bel-Air has arrived. So Will was like, senior year going to be dope. Lisa was like, all right, slow down now. Don't rush it, shoot. We still got summer. I be feeling that. Like, because when I was in school, I was like, I can't wait till summertime. And then summer would go by so quick. So she was like, don't slow down. Shoot, we still got summer first. But I feel like that was just leeway into the song that plays at the end. So Will was like, well, what's Bel-Air like in the summertime? So Lisa was like, you have no idea. So Will was like, I know you be in the party. Let me see some of your news. Let me see some of your moves. I said nudes. Let me see some of your moves. And then it started to fade away, playing the iconic Summertime by Will Smith. Summer, summer, summertime. And that's how it went off. So I was like, that's lit. So that was a lit little season. Like I said, I'm a grade it A+ because it was the finale. Black excellence. I love the show. My predictions for next season, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a next season the way they left some stuff unanswered. I still think that Hillary and LaMarcus are gonna get together. I said LaMarcus. She went with LaMarcus. I still think that Hillary and Jazz are gonna get together. I still think that. Like I said, I think Ashley and Olivia are gonna start like being a little couple. Start talking. Will and Lisa, they already back together, so I want to see how that relationship's going to happen and how Carlton's going to feel about that. Are they going to show Carlton in rehab? Is he going to still be in rehab when the season comes back? I wonder. And what does this mean for Phil and Viv? I'm so disappointed in Phil for texting back, sure. So I'm just like, and then you got this woman laughing in your wife's face, making her look. You making Viv look wild. Like, come on, Phil. Do better. So I don't know what that means for them. But yeah, those are my predictions for next season. And yeah, thanks for watching these episodes with me and reviewing them with me. Like I said in the beginning of this episode, please like the video, hit the notification bell if you like, share if you like, and subscribe to my channel. Definitely like and subscribe. Definitely do those two. The sharing and the notification bell are totally up to you. But please like and subscribe. Those are the main things. And comment below. Yeah, comment below what you thought of the show, what you thought of the season. If I missed anything, if I was wrong about anything. All that good stuff. What you would grade the episode. All that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see y'all next season. The next show I talk about. All that stuff. And see y'all. Peace.